Welcome to Sinister Heroes. I'm your host, Danny Iniquitous. Thank you for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, this is a channel about Dungeons and Dragons where we try and take a darker tone with everything we do here. So if you like edgy kind of content, definitely hit that like and subscribe button. A big thank you to our Patreon supporters. We love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And thank you to our good friends over at Critical Failures, where we're part of a live stream game every Wednesday night. Check us out. And with that out of the way, we're going to talk about the Way of the Open Hand Monk. The Way of the Open Hand Monk is the originator archetype of the monk. You are that monastery trained fighter. You are there to hone your body and use it to the best of your ability to find that center within you and to really connect with your kind of like mentality and your spirituality. Like that kind of a monk really fits very, very well into this archetype. And it's really shown very well. This is really the easier thought process of when you think of a monk. This is the kind of monk that you think about. It's based solely around using your body as a weapon and honing that weapon and truly taking care of yourself in a way that's very fitting of a true warrior. Kung Fu, The Legendary Journeys, any of the martial arts film where you see someone training to become the greatest of that particular style. It's a great set up for how you learned your abilities, and it sets up a good thing about a character of just building your characters mechanically is part of the backstory, and how you grow from that is what your character really develops. And this kind of gives you that setup of like, all right, I've been training in this monastery forever and now I'm out in the world. What does this actually mean, and how does this affect me? That's kind of like your character's growth. And however long you've been away from the monastery could depict a variety of different kind of things you've done. And it's a great opportunity for you to create this fish out of water kind of character if it's really early on from you leaving the monastery, or you might have been hardened by the world around you by dealing with the hardships that might exist in that area. But it works with every species and race out there, and it's a good way to kind of balance out how you survive the negativity of the races and species that don't like your species and race, which comes up with a cool kind of concept for you. Your first ability as an open hand monk is called Open Hand Technique. Starting when you choose this tradition at 3rd level, you can manipulate your enemy's ki when you harness your own. Whenever you hit a creature with one of the attacks granted by your flurry of blows, you can impose one of the following effects on that target. It must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or be knocked prone. It must succeed on a strength saving throw. If it fails, you push it up to 15 feet away from you. It can't take reactions until the end of your next turn. Here is kind of how you kind of want to set this up. If you want to knock them prone, it will give you advantage on your next attack. Depending on who your other party members are, would depict on whether or not that's better or worse. If you have paladins, if you have fighters, barbarians, anyone that can benefit greatly from a melee critical strike, that is really when you want to use that. Keep in mind, it does impose disadvantage on anyone on any attacks it makes. So if you did knock it prone and try to run away, it would have disadvantage on hitting you. The strength one, where you push them 15 feet away, depends on a lot of your party composition and the environments you're fighting in. If you have a druid and this guy just walked through spike growth, you can run up to him and punch him back and push him through all that spike growth, and he'll take additional damage for that. That's a great use out of it, knocking them back into AoE effects that might cause them to have to make saves like restrained or conditions that might be very damaging to them. It's a great way to kind of keep ping-ponging them back into that area. Also, it's more of a strategic thing. The more tactical you are, the more advantage you can get from a thing like a push feet, where you can push them 15 feet, which is pretty good as far as distance is concerned. If you are in a situation where it's just you there, the inability for them to take reactions until the end of your turn is great for attacking and then running away. You do have extra movement speed as a monk, so you will more often than not have that move speed to run up a little bit, make the attack, and run away, making you more of a striker. This fits very, very well into that kind of a role. Use that mobility you have in a benevolent kind of a way. If you're fighting a wizard or a high level caster, something that has counterspell or anything like that, This is a great way to ensure that your casters can still get their big spells off without having that being negated. That's a big thing that people tend to forget, that spells that are used as reactions still get disabled when you hit them with the things that prevent them from taking reactions. At 6th level, you gain wholeness of body. You gain the ability to heal yourself. As an action, you can regain hit points equal to 3 times your monk level. You must finish a long rest before you can use this feature again. This is that kind of really focusing in on and meditating and kind of using your mind and spirit to heal your body. It's kind of that kind of technique. If you ever saw Ninja Assassin, there's a training area, a flashback to the early training of the main character, and he gets severely wounded, and one of the bad guys in the movies tells him, your test now is to survive the night. And when they see him the next day, he's just sitting crisscrossed, and he's like meditating, and that's kind of how he repaired his body long enough to survive through the night. It works. It's cool. It's a great way to keep yourself in the fight. It's just a great way to heal. And at 6, you gain 9 HP, which is not a huge amount, but it's a good enough amount that you might make yourself survive more. This is one of these things that when you hit half HP, that's when you use it. You don't wait till you're on like 1 or 2 to get this up, because it's not as advantageous as earlier on. The next ability you gain is Tranquility. Beginning at 11th level, you can enter a special meditation that surrounds you with an aura of peace. At the end of the long rest, you gain the effect of the Sanctuary spell that lasts until the start of your next long rest. The saving throw DC for the spell equals 8 plus your wisdom modifier plus your proficiency bonus, which would be the same thing as Stunning Strike. Now, Sanctuary, the way the spell reads is you ward a creature within range against attack. Until the spell ends, any creature who targets the warded creature with an attack or harmful spell must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the creature must choose a new target or lose the attack or spell. The spell doesn't protect a warded creature from effects such as explosion of fireball. If the warded creature makes an attack, casts a spell that affects an enemy, deals damage to another creature, the spell ends. So, basically, until you start a fight, it's significantly difficult to hit you. You do have that kind of calming sense, and it does deflect you from getting surprise attacked, I guess. It's an interesting spell as far as like what its purpose is or what circumstance you're in that you would need that. But as a monk, having this ability where, you know, basically once a day, if someone tries to attack you, you can deflect that attack. It's one of those things it's very hard to find a really great use for it. I would definitely try and figure something out that might be a little bit better for this, because you're also a dexterity-based class, so dexterity affects your initiative. So your initiative count will be higher than most other creatures that you'll encounter. That being said, you're probably most likely going to go first. And in combat, this really has no purpose if you go before your enemies do, because you'll make that attack and you'll remove the sanctuary condition anyway. So, I don't know. I feel like this is kind of a little lackluster of an ability, but you know, in truth, I don't gain what the spell's original design was, that it would make this spell in the first place. And then finally, you gain Quivering Palm. At 17th level, you gain the ability to set up lethal vibrations in somebody's body. When you hit a creature with an unarmed strike, you can spend 3 key points to start imperceivable vibrations, which last a number of days equal to your monk level. The vibrations are harmless unless you use your action to end them. To do so, you and the target must be on the same plane of existence. When you use this action, the creature must make a Constitution saving throw. If it fails, it's reduced to 0 hit points, and if it succeeds, it takes 10d10 necrotic damage. And you can have only one creature under the effects of this feature at a time, and you choose to end the vibrations harmlessly without using an action. So this is your 5-finger death punch. It's a huge amount of damage. Even at 17th level, the chance to insta kill something is pretty great. Again, it's a constitution saving throw, so it is harder to get them to fail that, though that doesn't mean it doesn't fail. And even if it does survive, it's taking 10d10 necrotic damage, which is a lot. It's anywhere between 10 and 100 points of necrotic damage on top of whatever your attack was. So it's there, the damage, either way. Obviously, if you get to hit that constitution saving throw where they fail, oh boy, is it worth it. Just to see something insta drop is pretty great. It's not a magic effect though, so just keep that in mind. It is awesome. You can do it and then just walk away dramatically and have the creature just fall to their death. It all depends on how dramatic and thematic you might be, but this is that ability. It's an awesome ability. I think it's great. It's the only ability that I'm aware of that will instantly kill something. You know, it's intense. The Way of the Open Hand Monk does enhance the core monk a great deal. The way that the open hand technique gives you the availability to disengage from combat is, as part of dealing damage, is a very big boon to you, because you can deal that damage and then you can weave your way in and out of combat, making you more of a striker and less of a frontliner that's just there to stand and hold the line. And I think that fits the monk significantly better. It gives you a reason to use all that mobility from the monk that I feel like people don't gain the full understanding of how it should be used, and this helps ease that transition, and it makes it easier for you to do that. Wholeness of body, again, not too excited about it. I guess it might be cool, but in all honesty, I'd rather have anything else. It's interesting to see how this monk has gotten its creation in comparison to some of the other monks, because even as other monks still came out, this one still seemed a lot stronger and a lot better. The fact that you do have an insta-kill is amazing, but again, it's 17th level, so there are very few and far between campaigns where you'll ever be able to use that or get high enough to make that actually viable. It is cost heavy, but again, if you don't use it, you'll never land it. So definitely check that out, and definitely play with it if you do get the opportunity to do so. That being said, we're going to bring this video to a close. If you've made it this far, definitely hit that like and subscribe button. A big thank you to all of you guys for making it all this way. Comment. We'd love to hear your opinions. All that stuff really helps the video do well and the channel grow. And a big thank you to our Patreon supporters. We love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. What you do for us is absolutely amazing, and it's really, really incredible to have you guys supporting us. And a big thank you to our good friends over at Critical Failures, who are part of a live stream game every Wednesday night. Check us out, and thank you for giving a spooky kid a chance.